Chapter 1 Introduction. I only had a Game Boy my whole life. No GP, color, nor SP. No DS, no newer version whatsoever. Only what we called the gray brick, the original Game Boy. Everyone in my neighborhood had a DS already, but I never ever had a Game Boy Color, but I was happy. One day I got my own PC and I wanted to at least see what the newer generation of Pokemon brought. So I emulated the Game Boy Advance and DS as I finally had the chance to play my own game. Not really legal though. Instead of borrowing my friends. I was having a fun time, but liking each new generation less and less, I eventually decided to get back to my old game. There it was, my old saved file. Still fully the same, no creepy Pokemon that died or characters that tried to kill me. It was all fine. But from my time online, I learned the glitch Pokemon missing number. It was a cold and lonely night. As I was playing with my old Game Boy, using the old man glitch, I caught missing numbers. And it was all fun. My mother called me to go to sleep, so I did. When I woke up, I wasn't in my own bed anymore. I was wearing a red cap, had a bag full of stuff, and the room seemed kind of bold. I wondered where I was. I heard an unknown voice call me down, saying it was time to leave. It all sounded so familiar, as if I had been through this before. Downstairs there was a person calling herself my mother, saying a professor was looking for me. Then I remembered. It was like in Pokemon. It was a dream come true. I was inside my game. Or was the real world changing into a version of the game? I don't know. Checking my bag, I found an old Game Boy. No game was inserted in it, but was showing some menu-like thing. It said trainer card and journal. I was curious what it would do, so I pressed journal. The Game Boy clicked open and showed a keyboard where I could type my adventures in. It was all so special. It was all fun, seeing my dream becoming true. And there were so many things I wanted to do. My mother reminded me to see the professor as I was getting late. I said thanks, gave her a kiss as she thought I was her real son, and left sprinting, going to the tall grass where I would meet Professor Oak. And indeed, he stopped me. A mysterious force kept me back from the grass as the professor came closer to me, saying it was dangerous. But when I looked at him, he looked scared, like I was going to face my death. Chapter 2. Not a dream after all? He took me to his lab, running like his life was in danger, and I could do nothing but run after him. Once in his lab, one of his assistants closed the door behind us, barricading the door, almost as scared as Oak was. One of them left out a sigh of relief as the door was closed. The professor talked to me. "You were in grave danger," said Professor Oak. "I know," I said. "I needed to go out there so you would stop me from entering the grass and appear like in the game." The professor looked at me confused and said, "Red, do you really think this is a game? If you were attacked by those beings, you could have died or been seriously injured." I started to think, why did he call me Red? I wasn't Red, I was a real person. But of course the professor will think I am the game character. And as I was in the game, I decided to play along. "Sorry, Professor," I said. "I didn't mean to get you worried, but I was looking for you." The professor sighed and said, "Well, at least you are alive. Just never do that again." He turned around to grab something and said, "Red, I got something for you. I know you are using the old version of the Com Boy. I got this expansion card for it." He turned around and he gave me a card similar to a Game Boy game cartridge. "Here you go. It's an upgrade pack. It should help you keep track of your Pokemon, and it should be easier to call friends." he said, only to add, and I hope it will keep you safe from it. I frowned and asked what it was. He looked at me as if he couldn't believe my ears. He started to explain about the legends, a Pokemon so powerful that it bends the fabric of existence itself and transforms it into what looks like random bits of data. Its name was Missing No. I was a little shocked as he said Missing No. I caught one right before I got into this stuff. My mind started to connect stuff together. Maybe the glitch Pokemon somehow got me dragged into this. But it wasn't possible. Or was it? At first, as I woke up, I thought it was a dream. But maybe it wasn't. I left it to the side as I was enjoying this dream too much. Chapter 3. The Start of the Adventure. The professor saw my shocked expression and said, well, there is no need to be alarmed. There have been no attacks here yet, but I don't want to take any risk. I want you to do something for me. I asked him, and he said that his grandson had gone missing. He was on the adventure to become the best trainer until Missing No, attacked the region. I agreed to do the job as I could become the best trainer as I went on my mission. The professor only had one Pokemon left. I thought it would be Pikachu, as in the old yellow version, but as he said the Pokemon's name, I was surprised. It was Charmander, my personal favorite Pokemon. Being a curious person, I asked if he didn't have any other Pokemon, and he said that his grandson took Bulbasaur and the Squirtle had escaped. He took a pause and added, or died. Not knowing what to say on that, I happily took Charmander and let him out of his ball. It was a creature, a little shy and scared of what was going on. I picked him up and comforted him, and slowly he started to trust me. We went together on our mission, ready to take any danger. He stayed by my side, or at least that's what I thought. The professor wished us good luck as we went on to our adventure. Not knowing what to expect from the journey, he left us out, hearing the door getting locked behind us. As we left Pal Town, after saying my farewell to my mother, we heard a voice call my name. Red! Red, wait up! I am coming too! I turned around and saw Blue, or Gray, sister running towards us. She wanted to know what happened to her brother at all cost. Chapter 4. Not everything is what it seems. I welcomed her and Charmander, who I called Silver, that's the name of my Charmander RP character, cheered happily. We were happy not to be alone on this journey, and having somebody that could read the map properly could be useful. As we went to the first village, I asked what her story was. Well, I was sleeping normally after I played this fun game called Pokemon, but you probably wouldn't believe me. Everybody thinks I am crazy. Everybody thinks I made this up, but I know I don't belong here. I know this isn't the world I grew up in. Hearing you who was leaving to find my brother, I thought I could as well join and hope to find a way back home. As I heard her story, I couldn't believe my ears. Wasn't I the only person who landed in this game? I said she wasn't crazy, that she wasn't alone, and I asked if she had a Pokemon too. Well, I snagged the Squirtle from the professor. Those guys were so stupid. They didn't even see me enter. Now I got this Squirtle, so I feel safe, she said. It was all fun. We battled some Pokemon. Forgetting the real danger for a while, we were having a lot of fun until we entered the town. Charmander seemed scared of something, as it apprenticed it seemed. Not knowing what was wrong, we went to the Pokemon Center, but the closer we got, the worse it became. Now Squirtle also started to get scared, but he stood strong, kind of. We talked to a person as we waited for our Pokemon to be healed. He turned his head heavily, grinning, which was scary, practically because we didn't know why he grinned. Excuse me. Asking around about Blue, nobody saw him except the old man standing outside. This fact scared me a little, as he was a part of which makes Missing No able to get to this realm. He said he saw a nice young man go to the forest, Viridin Forest. Our Pokemon were finally healed to full health, and we brought some items, but something seemed different about them. They seemed weaker, almost like they lost the will to live. Not really seeing the problem right away, as it was dark, we assumed it was because they were tired. We left for the forest, but I wish we had done that. Chapter 5, Forest of Horror. I wasn't looking forward to entering the forest. I have a strange fear for mushrooms. I can't explain why, but my spine would turns cold when seeing one. But what was waiting in the forest was far worse. As we entered the gate to the forest, there were always happy people waiting, saying how gorgeous it is in there and dangerous. There was nothing. We didn't really care about it. As we passed through and got into the forest, instead of the nice green leaves getting us, there was the smell of death and the sky full of red. There were no dead bodies, but also no trainers, people or Pokemon. There was nothing at all. Walking deeper in the forest, we saw the hat of a bug catcher. When we got close enough to check it out, an arm-like appendage dragged it deeper into the forest. A little scared of what that was, we went to see where it went to. As we came to a cave. There was never a cave in this forest that either of us could remember, so we decided to explore. Closer inspection resulted in finding strange markings on the wall, like they were glitched. We thought that Missing No was behind this. Wanting to explore further, we saw dead bodies. We could not recognize what kind of Pokemon they were. The blood of several of the mangled parts made them indistinguishable, and the smell was so bad we couldn't stay long. Daisy, Gary's sister, but I call her Daisy from now on, got sick of the thought, and me, being a fan of creepypastas, couldn't handle it, kinda. Could handle it, kinda. But as we tried to leave, there was a mysterious force holding us back. Daisy was scared as hell. This wall and the fact that we were trapped and that the only way out was through all those corpses didn't help. We had to go on. Between the corpses of the Pokemon, of which one seemed of a slaughtered Pikachu, Daisy's favorite Pokemon, we also saw some human parts. Red, she said. What the heck is going on here? I don't know. I didn't know what to say. Just feeding on the awkwardness of the surrounding area, filled with blood and bodies. Red, she shouted. As I kept walking, as I was under a trance, I still thought this was just a strange dream and we just had to keep on going till I woke up. With a cold voice, I said, "Sorry, but we need to keep going. I've got a bad feeling about this place." She looked at me like I was some kind of retard after that, and of course it was strange. There was nothing but dead stuff here. We kept going until we found an exit. The place was we came out was really strange. It looked like a place that I knew it existed, but we were always forbidden from going to. It was still dark. Though we traveled for hours and hours in the cave, we saw a shadow of a person. It was Bill, but he seemed different. He had this strange grin, like everybody in Valadin City. He was holding something behind his back. We were in Bill's secret garden. As we wanted to go, Chapter 6, Bill's Secret. As we wanted to go to him, asking what was going on, I got a call. It was Oak. He wanted to warn me. There was an attack on Pallet Town. Everyone was killed or turned into slaves. He was holding the attacker back in his lab, but he saw the walls glitch away before his eyes. And he wanted to warn Red before it was too late. "Red! Red! Are you there?" he shouted. "I am here, Professor," I said, as I kept Bill in the corner of my eye, not trusting him in this situation. "Red, where are you? You need to get to safety. Pallet Town is on the brink of destruction and we are..." The signal fell away for a second. I saw Bill was getting closer, still not able to see him clearly. The signal came back. "Red, you need to get out of there, wherever you are," he shouted. "The world is becoming the slave of it. Get out of the..." The signal died, to be resumed by an image of a dead and bloody Oak. Scared of the image, I dropped my calm boy and focused my attention on Bill. What I saw was shocking. I saw Bill standing there, cutting open Daisy's neck. Blood spilled everywhere from her neck. Bill was still creepily smiling, but now he was standing in the light. Half his face was glitched, partly, his eyes red as fire. As I stood there, not able to move directly, his arm formed into a claw, slamming right through her chest. Blood splattered all over me. As I snapped out of the shock, I called Silver, the Charmander. We were scared of the sighting too, but it was too much for my Charmander. In the last struggle to survive, or at least trying one to let me survive, Daisy dropped her only Pokeball, and Squirtle came out, who was filled with anger, wanting revenge for her death. Squirtle and I tried to fight off Bill, using water gun to distract him and get past him. We went running, only to be stopped by a hole in the world, created by the decaying effect of the glitch Pokemon. I ordered Squirrel to use his water gun in a despite attempt to get his knife. Bill threw a Pokemon and Pidgeymon came out. It seemed sad that his master wasn't who he used to be. Bill fought a hard battle, but I didn't stand a chance. Squirtle was about to faint. But when I saw I was doomed, the Pidgeymon turned against his master. Not being able to follow the wicked orders he barked, Bill wasn't his master anymore. Pidgeymon used Aerial Ace on Bill, knocked him back, causing him to drop his knife. I took my chance and grabbed the knife as I wanted to kill him, to get rid of it once and for all. Chapter 8. The End. As soon as I wanted to stab him, the force stopped me again, keeping me from even touching him, but it wasn't needed anymore. The broken Bill started to decay. Missing No's effect took its toll. Glad that it was over, I checked on Daisy. She had lost too much blood and her wounds were fatal. She was dead. Nothing could be done. Squirtle had a saddened look on its face. It started to cry. Pidgeymon too mounted over his master, Bill. Bill was a good trainer before this happened. We had to go on, I said. Pidgeymon turned his face from the decaying Bill, but Squirrel decided to stay, out of respect for its trainer. I climbed on Pidgeymon to look for Blue, the only one who could save the world. We went to the Elite Four, only to find a lot of dead bodies. Every last member was slaughtered, dead, ripped into pieces. The Indigo Plateau was a total bloodbath. We came to the place where we normally fight Blue for the championship title. Pidgeymon, Charmander, and I went to the figure staying in the room. A crying sound was passed through the room. It felt like it was cutting through steel. High tones were mixed with the crying. The closer we got, the stranger it became. The world was still decaying slowly. We soon reached the person sitting and crying. Charmander didn't know where to hide, standing behind me, scared as hell, and not as I said, "Are you alright?" The figure stood up. "Yeah," they said, still sobbing. "And you know why?" He said. "No," I answered. He turns around. It was blue/gray. There were no eyes in his skull, only something that looked like a pixel mess where his eyes should be. Blood dripping out of it instead of tears, and smoke coming out of his eye socket. "Because I killed them. I killed them all," he said, laughing insanely. "And you're next." Scared and not knowing what to do, I wanted to take Charmander and jump on Pidgeymon to run. But as soon as I turned around, Charmander was dead. Strangled, it seemed, and Pidgeymon, nothing but pieces. My last friend in this world, dead, and soon I would join them in the afterlife. I got knocked out by something. When I woke up, I was laying in a pool of blood. Still alive, I was strapped in some torture device. I was greeted by two figures, blue/gray, dead, and Missing No. "Why did you catch me?" Missing No said. "You forced me into this realm. You forced me to live under the creatures I am no part of. You forced me to live." "Why would you do this to me?" I shouted. "You forced me to live in a world where I didn't belong. I was not complete. Now I will force you to live in my world," it answered. As it changed forms, it became Red's mother, grinning evilly. "I guided you here. It changed its form to oak as it said that everything is a lie," it said as it became Daisy. I am a lie," it said as it turned to the pixel mess that it originally was. "And you know what the great part is? Soon you will be a lie too." After he said that, I had a ripping feeling, as if my skin was getting torn off of my body. Blood started to drip out of my new wounds all over my body as I screamed. Missing No did nothing but laugh, repeating, "A lie! A lie! A lie!" Shortly after that, I found myself in my own bed, completely harmed, in my own room. I heard people crying downstairs. I went to see, and my parents were crying over a picture of me. "Mommy," I said. My mom turned around, overjoyed, still crying over her boy. "Where were you? You were gone for days," she said. My answer was, "I don't know, Mother. I don't know." Later, when I was getting ready to go to bed, I glanced into the mirror. I didn't see my reflection at first, but I rubbed my eyes, and there it was, my reflection. I calmed down until I saw the scar on my body. The scar formed two words, a lie. I never caught another Missing No ever again.